thank you very much for being here. Polina, talking to you about your month of September. Well done. I'm now on a black moon. Well done. I'll say this again. Welcome, welcome. This is good, Scorpio. We have something for you, and not just for you, for your whole mind. So the whole ideal, the whole thing that you're into, there is something in it for you, and you. It's not just for yourself, it's for what you've been fighting for. It isn't just for that, it's for the greater picture of life that you've always had. It isn't just for that, it is for the world that you long to enjoy or long to see flower, because usually you guys have a longing and a belonging in some dimension. So you're blessed, and your people. For example, you have been living a life where you've been coping with a lot of pressure. And even if you haven't done the work, this is the month to receive somebody or something from the gods that alleviates that. And I feel that you've been put into a situation, perhaps Scorpio, where you can benefit or be the benefactor of many people. So you benefit and they benefit. This is a really interesting thing for me to see, as Jupiter's been going through Libra in your 12th, and how the moon and the sun are looking. It feels, or it felt to me strong, that you are finally here representing somebody else, and also bringing somebody else wealth or something else greatness with your presence. The other thing that I feel about this incredible time is that you are using yourself really gracefully, and you may not see it, and you not often do, but it feels to me that Scorpio can't look away from the world, or it can't look away from that which people have become. And there is a human aspect that I feel is birthing inside you that is beyond your own situation and your own upbringing and your own interests and your own things. It is for the greatest, for the biggest, and for the best cause. I feel you're ripe, and I feel that you're ready for this big energy to come back. Jupiter is coming back through you very soon, and you might already sense it and feel it inside as you're opening your wings wide, and then there's this kind of a stretching and an elongation of the body. You might already understand that you have a lot more breath. You might already feel and understand that you have many more vibrations available to you than before. If you are somebody who plays the piano, you can play the pieces of many composers. If you are somebody who's a psychic, you can talk to a larger amount of beings. If you're somebody who's a painter, you can use a larger amounts of medium. There is a greatness and a growth. By being in the state, I feel you are receiving less if you're thinking about what I am. Look at my hands. Look at how much more I can hold. Look at my time and the more I can do in it. Look at my life and the bigger picture of life for me that I have made. It feels to me that if you are looking at yourself as the masterpiece, or even the masterful energy behind the things that you have, and you're pulling your vortex outwards, showing or giving people the ideal of yourself as the perfect something, like I am the only knower here, I am the biggest brain, or I am the biggest feeling, or I am the big thing. It is not good. It's not, because this is not the time to pull your things out, even though you might feel I am needing to do this because I have been so alone, or I need to present myself to these people because I've never been welcomed. And you might see a window open where you can talk, or like a little flicker open where you can finally tell the truth, or the mystery behind what you do and who you are. But the minute you show yourself, That's all done. And there is no other you. It doesn't really leave space for any other you. So keep yourself occupied. Leave things to chance. Allow things to come from another as if from God. For instance, lottery wins, rotary things, charity, anything that just comes to you from no reason, for no reason. Not because you did, not because, no, just no reason, no reason. Unreasonable find, unreasonable catch, unreasonable money, reasonless blessings, reasonless offers. Allow for more of this. Do not succumb to anybody as a prize. Do not succumb to anything as the culmination of the evening either. So it would be very, very unwise for me as for you to statue yourself as the presence. For example, I am now coming out as the vortex, or I am now showing you what I am. Because even though this might to you feel great, in just a few weeks it'll look like a delusion. So if you've got, for example, a spirit with you, or like a choice, or you've got something that you've done always, or there's something that you are finally coming out of the closet about, careful about that. Because once you identified yourself, you've identified your cause, or you've identified your people or your frequency or who you're about, what you're about, you kind of know you've been about something, and that's going to all be paid. It's all going to be pragmatically given something, like to the point where your team wins. You know what I mean? You're given, and yes, you've been affirmed and confirmed as this and that. But the more you are pulling yourself into people's fields, explaining yourself, expressing yourself, expanding yourself, and showing it's always been me, like I've always had this gift, or I've always been this, or like I talk to the stars, or I'm the person that is a horse whisperer, or I'm the magician behind all things, I know how to do this and that. Once you do that, you are caught, and it's not easy to get out. So if you are attuned like me, you might see people might want to fish that out of you. So who are you anyway? What do you do? Oh, well, I'm an interdimensional shaman, and I work with spirits, and I work with ayahuasca, and I work with plant medicine. Like, you see yourself putting yourself into a little box, and sometimes Scorpios have so little time and space here that they really jump in at the chance to show themselves. They're like, I really want to walk with these people. I really want to show these people who I am. I really want to finally get paid for my work. I really finally want to have my stuff noticed and my presence affirmed. And that is what sucks you in. And then nobody gets anything. Just you get closed in, and that becomes a sort of a box in which you live for the next while. You know, it's almost like you're a butterfly and you land on someone's palm and they just closed you up. So it is a very interesting time not to share too much. I know it's hard. This is it's not temporary, it's a constant thing for Scorpio. If you're showing too much of yourself, you show all the tricks, you're showing what's inside your sleeves, you know, what's this, what's that. And you're showing people way too much of what you do, way too much of what you see, what you've known, what you've done, what your process is. It can get stolen. It can get used with disadvantage to yourself and other people. It can get misunderstood. It can get practiced in a wrong or destructive way. It can get stereotyped, cliched, and put into a box. It can get misallowed. It can get banned. It can get blocked up. It can get surprise experiences. Or you could, for example, if you say I'm a genius mathematician, you might get so much mathematics work that you don't freaking know what time of day it is. You know, you might score yourself a job or score yourself too much attention, and then all the work that you do with people is about mathematics. All you talk about is mathematics. Everything's mathematics, and that's very, very insane. So it's a very interesting time, even if you finally developed a concept or really good holy energy about who you are, who you were, your causes, your loves, and your feelings. Trust that will get seen and shown a way beyond you. So for example, also if you've been working for a job or a company that, for example, deals with a certain frontier, as I have been also, and perhaps will be soon, expanding on that. So, for example, you've been dealing with people that are walking through life in a terrible situation, and say you got a bleeding heart for people, you want to help people along, you want to guide others, you may find that during this type of thing, they just get given. Say you work for an organization, suddenly there's a big grant. It just does it. It just happens. Money can come from nowhere. Money can come from overseas. Things can just get propped up. But you've got to not ask for it, and you've got to not say anything. It almost just elevates itself. And you might even be like, I have no idea where these blessings come from. But this is about you and you only, and it has to be a private experience or private victory. If you are, for example, like me, occasionally on an over-explaining edge, and you tell people how you work with spirit, what you do with science, what you do by yourself, what's your attitude towards God, what your attitude towards life, and you're going into this almost like esoteric interview mode, and you're sharing so much of your world, and you'll find it's really easy to get people going, oh, really, wow, during this time. It closes you up. And then in the future, in just a few minutes, you might actually regret it. And I've done this a couple of times recently. It's like you are opening your mouth and you're sharing the truth and you're pulling your inner world on the outside. And just as you say it, you can already see the person's eyes glaze over and you feel that a part of them has disappeared, or that you are no longer this, you are that, and you are going to get judged, or you're no longer going to be needed for that or this. You're going to only be wanted and needed for this. And this is something that happens with us often. Scorpios are really intense and really loyal to a cause quite often. And because we get upset if we don't get understood about something that we believe in or we trust or we do, we sometimes take it personally. And then we suspect that if we wear our cause on our sleeve, that we'll get loved and finally finished with this pattern of being not like recognizable and being not wanted and being not understood. You aren't an understood species, just like me. We are understood rarely, and we're usually understood weirdly. So it's like the people that get us sometimes cannot be with us, or the people that kind of understand us don't actually want to give us what they've got, or we get given from people that don't understand for the surprise factor, not for the actual full truth of what we hold. And it's a very interesting thing, especially for Scorpio ascendant. It's a very, very interesting thing. And if you've got Aries in your chart too, so take a step back and take a step down, because there might be a feeling like you can do the Martin Luther speech, you know, that there's a stage and a little, like a booth, and it's like, come on, say the words, you know, tell them who you are, tell them what you're worth, tell them what you bring, tell them who you do, what you do, tell them you're a genius, come on. And that type of thing is a trap, and it's an edge of a blade. So with us Scorpios during this type of solar eclipse fueled month, it might be good to sit and watch and just hold. Sit, watch, hold. And we've got 12th house activity, we've got 11th house activity, we've got a lot of things happening. Watch. People will come up and they'll say something. Let them be who they be. Like, oh, I love your work. Oh, thank you. Oh, where do you get it from? I don't know. It just happens. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, remain the mystery, the mystic. That's what Scorpio does at its best. The mystic. Where did you get all those ideas for that science thing from? Oh, I don't know. I just read a lot of books. And you're like, well, freaking a winged serpent came to me and told me. But you don't have to say that. You're like, oh yeah, I just opened the book and it just happens. You know, it just happens. With that type of thing, I feel that the more you conceal who you have been and how you get your information, or the true purpose and the true flame behind your work, the more likely people are going to come to you. Because it's really interesting here. They're almost like, because we are at the beginning of a dark month, dark moon, people are possessed to ask weird questions. So tell me how many partners you had, or like, tell me what it's like to do this, or can you tell me about spirits? Like, or can you tell me about ghosts? Have you ever seen a ghost? Or how do you do all this money stuff? Like, what's your secret? What's your secret? What's the secret recipe? Don't tell anything. Just be like, oh, it just happens. It's To hide is to win. And it's not because it's lying, it is just basically what happens is when we tell too much, it's like, oh, and you might actually feel it already if you've done it like me. I've sort of been watching myself in the last 2 days expand a little bit too much about the secrets of my universe, and actually found myself fall inside because I've done something weird. I've done something weird, and we do these weird things to ourselves when we over-explain our mission or over-explain our vortex, because in a Scorpion there is an unjustified frequency that doesn't believe in itself sometimes, but within it is the world. And it's like, how do you explain the world? Oh yeah, what's the magic behind your art? Oh, I don't know, the world. Oh, what do you mean? How do you do this? How do you get your inspiration? Don't trust yourself to even know how, because if you describe it, you reduce yourself, you congeal yourself in a presence or in some kind of a cliche. But if you don't explain it, just say, don't know, the world maybe do it, I don't know, God, I don't know, spirits, I don't know, it just happens like that, just fuck around, just try it and do it. If you say it like that, what happens is, without justifying what you're working for, it expands and it gives you more. So for example, if you're a medium like me and you don't tell like who you work with, you don't know, you say, I don't know, it just comes through, which is something I always do. And what happens is, when you don't justify a spirit and you don't put into perspective, your momentum as a psychic lasts a lot larger. And you get more information because you haven't defined anything. And that's a quantum thing. It's like you define a particle, you define something, it disappears, it stops working. It's like it's a classic thing. It's like when people are watching plants grow and they're paying them too much attention, and that magnetizing feeling makes the plant grow not as fast. Or like, say, if you put too much attention to your child and get obsessed with their progress, they don't progress quite the same as they should. And it's like, same as relationships. You get obsessed with somebody and you look at them and you get obsessed with them, relationship disintegrates or something breaks and something gets out of balance. So remain balanced by saying, I don't freaking know how it happens. I don't know. Why are you a genius writer? I don't know. It just happens. It's just certain, just born this. I'm just talented. So I'm trying to avoid confrontation with spirit too. In terms of this type of thing, there might be a little bit of a guru moment and a bit of a, I want to tell you about religion, or I wanted to finally speak out about my family. I want to finally speak out about what I think happened to me when I was a child. I want to finally confront my dad. I want to finally confront my parents. I want to confront the world. I want to talk about World War II. I want to talk about concentration camps. There is a lot of that going on in me as well. And I'm noticing that if I do this and if I splash out this 12th house fire, it sort of burdens me later. So it is much more interesting to keep things inside and keep things bubbling, and the private universe is your own, and then people will be amazed. And this is the magic of Scorpio. Things just come in, money just comes in, people just come in, clients come in, big opportunities come, people come in. The more you hide, or not hide, but the more you conceal yourself from the world, 12th house stuff happening, 11th house stuff happening, the more things attract to you. People come in. It's like a weird thing. For example, you have a shop, and if you love informing perfect example, you go to an antique shop. Somebody comes in and say you're really lonely and you love telling people about everything you've got inside the antique shop, and you go overboard. You might get one person and you spill all your beans to them, and maybe the next person, the next. You get maybe 4 or 5 clients in a day buy something. But if you, for example, use this mystique and this air of mystery as you're sitting there waiting for something and you don't even know what it is, it might not even be a person, and someone comes in and they just drop off an antique clock that's worth thousands of dollars just because they're bored with it. And then you get 2 or 3 people and you don't say anything. They come in, they ask a few questions, you say very minimal answers, you look at them more than they look at you. Look at people more than they look at you. Don't be the curiosity. You don't need to be the monkey with the symbols at the moment. You don't. There'll come a time, not right now. Just let people come in, be curious with your wares, and you may find person after person, look them up and down, see their shoes, see their dress, see what they're about, see how much they're willing to spend, even up to that. See what their deal is, do they want to buy one thing? Do they want to buy a set? Are they after this or after that? Do they have cheap taste or expensive taste? Can you interest them in your wares further? Can you help them, with whatever? What other services and what other tangibles that people can provide or people can give? And then there, you will see that there is a chain. It's like an energetic chain that happens. You're just seeing people come in, and don't use this time to step up and prophesize and things. We've got a black moon beginning of this month. It's not important to be the healer or the sister or the brother or the bleeding heart. Your cause and your passion are done. It's kind of solidified and it's going to get answered. So it's like, say, for example, you've been a human's right person. Don't have to follow that anymore. You know you're into human rights. That's going to get addressed. Like the prayer is going to get answered very likely this month. So things are on the go. Things are going to get changed. So people come in and you watch, each person to their own. Each person is a universe. Each person, la la la. Don't fight it. And you might see, say, you got 40 people through the doors and 12 people buy something today, 14 people buy something tomorrow, and you're learning 16 the next day. You're learning this way of structuring chains and kind of slightly remaining in mystery, not because you're hiding yourself, not because you're scared of anything. You just are mystery, Scorpio, especially the Black Moon month. And during this type of eclipse and this type of feeling, I got a hunch that you do a lot of work for us when you're not trying. And occasionally with social divination, with social stuff, you might feel like you want to try. I want to try and tell people something. I want to try and see if you can understand what I'm thinking. I want to try and see if we can be together. Don't try, just become. The best work here is inside. It's 12th house stuff. It's 11th house stuff. The best work here is inside, and you're not there yet because we got an expansion, an expanding energy. Nobody's there yet who's Scorpio, and you might feel that there is a stage for you in the light, but the moment you say, I'm here and I'm at the top of my game, things fall. So it's like, and 2-3 years later, you'll be wondering, say, why did I get stuck in that position? Why did I not move on? For example, you're a writer and you're a small-time writer and you think that's it, but say in 2 or 3 years time you could be in the UN and you don't know that. You think that all you do is just write, for a private publisher, that's it. And for example, TED Talk is the biggest thing you can imagine yourself doing. Don't succumb to anything because it might be time to go inside so much that something new is born. Thank you very much, Scorpio. I hope you had fun. I had lots of fun, and I will see you next time. Also, if you'd like to look at the links below and check out my website and things like that, I will be there and I will do readings for you if you like a reading. Thank you and subscribe. Bye.